Right now at noon, tomorrow is Election Day. We'll take a look at what's on the ballots in the 4 states.
And we do have a severe threat for storms south of I-44 later on today.
Plus, the presidential candidates prepare for their closing statements.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We have an alert day today as severe weather makes its way across the 4 states. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. We go straight to meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney.
All right, so right now we've got this elevated risk mostly south of I-44, south of Joplin and Miami due to the storms that are going to be moving in. Now we already have a cold front line starting to make its way across our area, and with that, the severe threats, we've got an enhanced risk, again, south of I-44, but we've got the hatch zone in southern Missouri, eastern Oklahoma, and Arkansas as well. An elevated risk for hail south of I-44, and then we also have that wind threat again south of I-44. So most of these storms will be moving up in the next couple of hours. They are daytime storms. We already have a tornado watch for our counties out in Oklahoma. This will likely be extended to Newton County and McDonald County south of Joplin, and as well as Berry County and Benton County in the next hour or so. We're going to keep an eye on that. We also have that flood watch still in effect until Tuesday. Now the tornado watch extends all the way until about 6 p.m. tonight. And then our severe threat really drops off, but we're already looking at this line of storms. That's our cold front as it pushes in. But along the cold front, we are seeing severe thunderstorms and even tornadoes pop up. But what we're expecting is along this line, spin up tornadoes ahead of the line if we really get enough momentum going with some of these storms that are going to be developing out through eastern Oklahoma and into southern Missouri. That's where we're going to see even more of a severe threat if some isolated storms pop up ahead of the line, which we'll be watching for the next several hours. You can join us and I'll have more details coming up.
All right, lots to look out for. We'll see you soon, Lindsay. Thanks. Well, at least 6 people were hurt as severe thunderstorms and possible tornadoes moved across parts of Oklahoma early yesterday. You can see some of the damage in Oklahoma City, where several homes and structures were hit, along with power lines, trees, and traffic signals. All those injured were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. About 95,000 customers across the state were without power Sunday morning. City fire crews responded to a number of flooded vehicles, and there's a heightened concern over the tornado threat this week, given how prolific a year it has been for twisters in the U.S. Well, tomorrow is Election Day, and it's more than just the presidential election on the ballot. Now, polling places in Missouri open at 6 a.m. and will remain open until 7 p.m. In Kansas and Oklahoma, they'll be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On the ballots in Missouri, the focus is statewide candidates and questions. Now, the Missouri executive branch is on the ballot. That includes the governor's race as current Governor Mike Parson hits term limits. Voters will also decide on Amendments 2 and 3. 2 would allow sports betting in the state, and Amendment 3 is about reproductive health. In Southeast Kansas, voters will decide on a new congressman for District 2. Jake LaTurner announced in the spring he wouldn't run for re-election. There's 3 candidates on the ballot for the spot, including former State Attorney General Derek Schmidt and former Congresswoman Nancy Boyda. In Crawford County, incumbent Democratic Sheriff Danny Smith is being challenged by Republican Billy Tomasi. And the sheriff's race is on the ballot in Cherokee County after David Groves announced he wouldn't run again. And in Oklahoma, voters will decide a new corporation commissioner after Bob Anthony hit term limits. There's also 2 referendums on the ballot, one to allow the creation of public infrastructure districts, the other for U.S. citizen-only voting. And in Ottawa County, 2nd County Commission district residents will be who represents them. Now, if you want a look at what's on your ballot, that information is online. Just go to KOAMNewsNow.com/elections. Well, it's the last full day of campaigning before Election Day, and the presidential candidates are making a final pitch to voters as polls show a neck-and-neck race. Now, former President Donald Trump is visiting 3 battleground states, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, while Vice President Kamala Harris concentrates on just one, Pennsylvania. the battleground with the most electoral college votes at stake. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
Former President Donald Trump returned to North Carolina Monday, a battleground state he carried the last two elections.
Here's my only purpose in even being here today. Get out and vote. You know that.
In the final stretch of the campaign, Trump went off message at his Sunday rally in Pennsylvania.
And I have this piece of glass here. But all we have really over here is the fake news, right? And to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much.
The campaign, trying to downplay the remarks, said they had nothing to do with the media being harmed. Vice President Kamala Harris is focusing all of her attention election eve on Pennsylvania, where she will hold star-studded Get Out the Vote concerts this evening, along with coordinated events across the battleground states.
We have momentum. It is on our side. Can you feel it?
In Michigan Sunday, Harris tried to appeal to the state's large Arab American population.
I will do everything in my power to end the war in Gaza.
The polls continue to show a tight race in all the key battleground states within the margin of error.
A race this close can not just break either way, but can break very large in a direction either way because there's so many factors.
It all comes down to turnout. More than 78 million Americans have voted early this election. That's nearly half of the 2020 total vote. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Women make up 54% of early voters and men make up 43.6%. Well, coming up, friends and family honor a Joplin runner after she lost her life. And later, we're making autumn pasta salad in the Mr. Food test kitchen. The Knoll Marshal's office is seeking the public's assistance regarding a fatal hit and run. Around 6:50 Saturday evening, the Marshal's office responded to a call to the intersection of South Kings Highway and Hall Ridge Road, a pedestrian who had been possibly hit by a motor vehicle. When deputies arrived, they found the male who had been struck by a vehicle, but no vehicle was found. First responders began to assess the victim, but he was confirmed deceased. The Knoll Marshal's office is asking that if you have any information regarding the hit and run, to contact them. A woman is dead following a fatal accident in Newton County, Missouri. It happened Friday night on Missouri Highway 43 north of Seneca. A woman in a 2023 Chevy Trailblazer was traveling south when a northbound Acura SUV crossed the center line and collided with the Chevy. Now, the woman in the Chevy was reported as deceased after their vehicle burst into flames. A female passenger in the car suffered minor injuries. Well, friends and family of a woman who passed away just over a week ago gathered Saturday to honor her memory. A week ago Thursday, Abby Zeb, a local runner, was struck in the crosswalk at North Main and Murphy Boulevard. Zeb died of her injuries. Zeb's loved ones joined together Saturday morning in Landreth Park to finish her run from the night she died. Zeb was training for the upcoming Tulsa Marathon, and she was about a half mile from home. So her friends gathered to finish her run that evening.
You know, finish what you started, and it's just very impactful to do that for Abby, to make sure that that intersection got crossed in her name.
She leaves behind her parents and 3 sons and hundreds of friends in the running community. Services for Abby Zeb are today at St. Mary's Catholic Church in Joplin. The annual polar plunge for the Special Olympics of Missouri took place at Rivers Bend Family Resort in Joplin. Now, last year the event raised $10,640, and this year they're shooting for even more. Local sponsors and organizations also formed teams to take the plunge together, like Kansas City University and General Mills.
All of the people that come out every year, they make it an annual to do on their list because they just really love the organization. They love the cause to support local Special Olympics athletes.
The Missouri Southern softball team helped manage the event. Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Put away your summertime pasta salad recipe because we have a new one for fall that is doubly good. Doubly good.
And our severe threat continues for the next several hours. We'll be here watching it and I'll have more details right after the break. All right, we are in an alert day today due to the severe storms. We can go ahead and take a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, getting some rain showers, though that severe threat hasn't quite hit our area yet. It will be in the next hour or so is when we're starting to see the severe threats move in. Now, we have this elevated risk that is going to be south of I-44, and we're going to take a look at the breakdown of the threats here in a minute. But right now we're showing the radar. So most of us are already getting some heavy rain showers. You can see moving through, just moved out of Pittsburgh, out of Joplin, heading towards Nevada and Stockton area. Those are just going to be thunderstorms and widespread rain showers. The line, the cold front line, hitting Bartlesville and moving towards Independence and Coffeyville and Chanute right now. A little storm that's south of Chanute looks a little concerning. Could be a strong storm moving there. We're going to keep an eye on that. But what we're really looking forward to is as this line passes, as of right now, moving into Kansas and Oklahoma, not a severe threat, though just south, we are seeing that severe threat, severe thunderstorms, strong wind gusts, and even spin-up tornadoes as well along this boundary. Now it's moving in. As of right now, those counties are just getting some heavy rain, but as this part of the front shifts a little bit northeast, it's going to be clipping our counties in the south, again, south of I-44. Now, it's already dropped a few tornadoes, a couple confirmed, some just radar indicated, and then you're seeing a gust front right through here, this Boeing Echo, as it moves through Tulsa. So we're going to watch those storms, but we also are concerned in this area over the next couple of hours as this cold front starts to push in. If any isolated thunderstorms pop up, again, it's mostly just going to be south of I-44. We do have a tornado watch in Oklahoma, may get extended into Arkansas and southern Missouri, but in that area, in that little bubble, we could see some isolated storms popping up that will also have that severe threat. So we've got an enhanced risk for tornadoes south of I-44 with that hatch zone, and that's, again, mostly for if we see isolated thunderstorms popping up, that's where we see the significant tornado threat. But along the line, we could still see spin up tornadoes as it passes, and it's mostly a daytime activity, so clearing out by about 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. Then we also have this elevated hail risk south of I-44, and then a wind threat with winds 50, 60 to 70 miles per hour. So we have heavy amounts of rainfall all the way through about 8 p.m. We start to drop off, and then we're just getting some scattered showers and scattered thunderstorms. So our severe threat really drops off around 8 p.m. We're walking through, our cold front moves in. So we are seeing that severe threat there with winds, hail, and even spin-up tornadoes. But just ahead of the front, so you can see this is all going to be a little bit further south, but you see a couple of these isolated pop-up storms. With the isolated storms, you get the greater chance to have a nice inflow towards a tornado that's going to be warm, moist air. And if that warm, moist air gets pulled in without contamination from nearby storms, that's where you see greater development for these tornadoes that could form. Now, this is now 2:30 p.m., so we're seeing that line start to overtake any isolated storms that are pushing in, but we still have a few moving towards Bella Vista and then southern Missouri as well. So as this line pushes through, that's where our threat mostly just becomes a wind threat with possible spin-up tornadoes. Now this is 3 p.m., still seeing that line pushing through, and it kind of gets held back there north of I-44, where we still are seeing a couple of those isolated storms popping up still ahead of the front. Now this is 4 p.m., 5 p.m., but then that line overtakes it by about 6 p.m., and then we're mostly going to see the front of the storms out of our area, and we're just getting those scattered thunderstorms and heavy rainfall. So after that, temperatures drop nearly 10 degrees. We're back in the 60s Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday with more scattered showers Friday and Saturday, some possible storms.
Lots to look out for today. You will be here with
Yes.
Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty, keeping an eye on these storms.
Yes, and we'll go live if we need to, if anything pops up. The good thing is it is during the daytime, so it's a little less, people are awake, they're alert, but you can join us on KOAM News Now YouTube page if we do go live.
Absolutely. All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, stick around. We're making autumn pasta salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard's making autumn pasta salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
When we think of pasta salad, we typically think of macaroni salad Or some kind of twirly noodles tossed with veggies in a light vinaigrette. Well, those are great for summer get-togethers and barbecues. But right now, we need a pasta salad that's more fitting for the season, like this new one we just came up with. We start by boiling some elbow macaroni, just like we always do, and draining it really well. While that sits for a sec, we mix some mayo with a bit of, get this, some maple syrup, a splash of apple cider vinegar, and a little salt, and we set that aside. Now we add some cut up cooked chicken to our pasta, along with some chopped up fresh pears and apples, a handful of dried cranberries, chopped celery, and to give this some crunch, a good amount of candied walnuts. All this gets tossed with our maple mayo mixture, and it's ready to serve as is. Or we can pop it in the fridge so it can chill for a bit before serving. It's really hard to explain just how good this is. I mean, between the sweet and tart dressing, the crunch of the apples and the pears, the candied nuts, and the heartiness of the chicken, what's not to love? As always, the recipe for our autumn pasta salad is online now and is ready to add some excitement to your table all season long. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a new fall-like way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, so we do have a tornado warning just outside of our area, a severe thunderstorm warning moving into Nowata County that we have warned on. So this storm is going to continue to move in the next 30 minutes or so. So we're watching as these storms, push in right there. That's the main line. We are also watching ahead of the main line for any storm development that will take place again in the next couple of hours. So stay weather aware through about 5-6 p.m.
Certainly so. All right. Thanks, Lindsay. Lots to look out for. And I'll be there first later on.
Well, a whole lot's coming up at 5. For starters, nonverbal learning disorder, or NVLD, is a condition that affects a person's ability to problem solve, notice patterns, and learn concepts. We're going to take a look at some of the common misconceptions that people with NVLD face. Plus, of course, tomorrow is Election Day. We're going to go over what you need to bring with you when you head to the polls. And if you bought too much candy for Halloween, as though there's such a thing as too much candy, and you're stuck with some leftover sweets, well, there's a business in Carthage looking to buy back your candy for a good cause. How about that? Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dow. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5. Until then, have a great rest of your day.